And welcome to the What the Shuck podcast. The goal of the What the Shuck podcast is to provide a platform to positive and influential people of Kentucky and Appalachia. Our next guests that will be joining us are the band Dark Moon Hollow. We have two of the gentlemen from that band tonight joining us. So we have Trey and Ishi who will be joining us, Trigger Trey and Ishi Wooton. And we are really excited to have them because they are bringing an abundance of new life into the bluegrass scene, and so I just wanted to kind of bring them on and talk a little bit about that.
Hi, Austin. Thanks, Austin. Yeah, thank you, Bubba.
Yep. So, kind of walk us through a little bit about what brought you all into wanting to play bluegrass music and what I guess you all call Newgrass.
Go ahead. I always thought that Newgrass was lame.
Okay.
I did.
I just saw that as a hashtag you all use.
No, I did. I always thought it was lame when I was younger. My dad introduced me to a lot of bluegrass, gospel, and like traditional bluegrass and. Some old school country, and I never really listened to the actual band, the Newgrass Revival.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Ended up never heard of them.
Damn.
I ended up actually studying under one of the members, Curtis Birch, at one point, and found out he was in that. But yeah, it was always like a tone that I always found was just kind of like cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
Newgrass, it just never seemed like something that I liked. I always liked heavy music and like rock music.
Check the
like
fit.
even
Yeah.
even country music, to me was just was not really appealing. I definitely always had like a darker, heavier side, even like all growing up.
Well, I mean, before Trey says anything, I feel that if you watch you all play, there are like hints of like metal or like heavy rock in a way, even though it's like bluegrass. And I think that's what's so entertaining about what you all do.
It's just that. Well, I mean, honestly, I think that like the similarities between bluegrass and metal is like kind of uncanny sometimes. Like I know it's obviously a different tone, but like some of the things that make up like with rhythm and shit like that they're just like kind of similar. And I honestly, a lot of people that I know that do bluegrass were formerly involved like in a lot of times in metal bands and stuff like that. Like a lot of the people that I know did that before they started playing bluegrass.
Had you all done any work in that kind of stuff, or?
Man, I know. I mean, to be real with you, ever since I started playing, which I guess I've been playing for like 8 years, I've kind of just essentially just went straight into playing bluegrass music. I never really experimented with anything else. But, I mean, you might have been. I feel like you totally were.
Yeah, I've been playing bluegrass. I've played at bluegrass festivals when I was a lot younger, like up in Northern California. There was some, up in Redding, there was some like Americana type sort of old-time festivals that I'd go there with my sisters. Me and my sisters had a little family unit. We all played violins, and my dad played guitar with us. And that was, going on when I was really young. And kept that going for the most part until we moved to Kentucky and had a couple of bands until my sister moved on to college. Then we just kind of stopped doing it. It was kind of an excuse to stop doing it.
So you all were playing together?
Yeah.
Okay, so your dad brought you a fiddle earlier. Would you say that your family's pretty musically talented?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My mom's an incredible
so it's even your mom. Okay.
Yeah,
so
my mom's an incredible vocalist. It's probably one of the reasons that my dad liked her so much. My dad loves music, like to no end.
She sang her siren song and captured your dad's heart.
They'll do that.
Yeah.
They'll do that.
They weren't communicating very well in any other way.
Can you just sing it to me?
She was just she was visiting from Switzerland. She was on a vacation from Switzerland.
So I was going to ask
Actually
you,
speaking.
your name is very unique. So where is like your family from?
That's actually from California.
Ishi.
Yeah.
Like where?
From it's a Central California tribe.
Okay. So I figured it was like either native or like.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yana,
say
it's
even. I was
a
like
Yana word.
weirdly even Asian.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know
It's
where.
definitely West Coast.
Yeah.
Whatever, because he doesn't. I don't think you have a middle. I don't think he has a middle name. You know, this is just. And I remember whenever I first met him, I was like, this dude is totally fucking with me.
His
Like,
name's
it's
like
all right.
Ishi.
I was like, okay, I'll leave you alone, dude. What's your middle name? I don't have one. I was like, all right, well, fuck it, I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll go back to the original question. But I was like, I would say whenever I just kind of started doing it, I was working. I was working sound and lights for this company called LP out of Louisville, and then they asked me to go to Terrapin Hill, and I like to work that, and that was the first time I'd ever been to that. And I I just saw a couple bluegrass bands, and to be real with you, whenever you're listening to like a recorded version of bluegrass, especially like older shit, you don't really. I feel like it doesn't really like represent the genre
You
that
don't really gain the appreciation.
well, that and
You have to be there to experience it.
yeah, exactly. Like, it sounds so much bigger than it actually is, and then like also, and to watch up to fuck, I don't know. All right, there's no cap on how many people I guess you can really have on stage, but to watch people like 5 or 6 people, do what they're doing and be that in sync with each other is really impressive. And so after I saw
Well,
that,
that's what you get in bluegrass a lot. It's just like smaller groups as opposed to 7 groups or 7-person groups. You'll have more like 3 or 4 or 5-person groups.
tell Bella Fleck that he just
Well,
released that.
what do you call that though?
Oh, a symphony.
I mean,
at that point,
I don't know if you all have been. And by the way, we are coming to you all from Old North Bar, but just up the block from Old North is Rock House.
Yeah.
On Monday they do like a bluegrass symphony, like once a month.
Really?
You all have to go check it out. It is incredible, dude.
I've never heard that
over there,
before.
Rock House.
It is nuts, dude. There'll be
Wednesdays?
20 people in there just playing strings.
Are they like? Is it like a picker
It might be
or
Wednesdays,
what?
but
Wednesday.
dude, I don't. It's really talented people. I'm like, I don't know where they come from. But it's a lot of musicians I've never seen, but they're really talented folks.
Those are usually the ones that are really good at picking it.
Man, do y'all know Daxon Lewis by chance?
Never heard of him.
I can't remember what band he's in, but he's from Logan County, where I'm from, and he plays at the Opry pretty often, and he plays banjo. And dude, that dude would freaking.
Should have known about this.
He
He's on the Opry.
isn't that?
Yeah, that's a good spot. That's a good spot from my understanding.
If I played on the Opry and somebody said I've never heard of him, I'd probably be like.
All this work just to be not known.
But this guy.
But I played on the Opry, bro.
Yeah, I've done all this work and now no one even still knows.
More
But
work to do.
he would play banjo at like our talent shows, and I would be like, I love this, but I don't know if I'm like allowed to, because it feels like grandpa stuff. But I think you all have. I think the influence of that was so important to me, hearing that, because I was like kind of familiar with it. But you all have done a really good job of kind of making it local. And I saw you all play at Masters Musician Festival. You all played at several pretty big festivals. So kind of walk us through what it's like traveling as a bluegrass band to places that maybe aren't familiar with that.
I'd say most of the festivals that we do get asked to play are pretty familiar with bluegrass, and obviously you'll never see us on like an EDM lineup. I don't really see us, but like at the same time, we've done some bigger stuff. Personally, I do like the bigger stuff, but like it's like the smaller ones like that I really like, because I don't know, it's such a closer thing, much more intimate. And I don't know. I personally like traveling around on the road. Like I like driving in general, And so being out there, kind of doing what you want to do, and going to places that actually want you to be there is a really nice feeling,
Yeah. It starts with answering emails.
That's a bitch.
Who typically is in charge of that stuff for you all? Okay.
Me, but well, they, you know, like Ishi and JD will help because like sometimes it gets, you know, you don't want things to kind of get lost in the shuffle, and if you have 4 people, because you know everybody's logged into the email, and I'm sure I know everybody wants to see what's going on. But they'll, you know, if they see something, they'll just tell me, and you know, I know what I try to know the price.
It gets really confusing. Not having a manager is really confusing.
I would imagine so.
I'm sure having a manager makes things a lot easier on the road as well. Just as far as like not having to I don't know, play babysitter.
Shit, yeah.
I don't know. I remember when Brian was on the road with me and Restless. And he definitely played the role of a manager at one point, and like I never had to go find anybody ever. He was always just like, to the station, go to the station, go get in the van. Here's some food.
And that's here, like honestly, that it's like I can't. To be real with you, I mean, I just can't even imagine what that's like at this point. I mean, it just that sounds like just the best, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, like he actually said the other day we played a show last Friday. This was the 16th of December, but we were in Dunbar, and he was like, "Wow, this band is so much easier to corral." He's like, because you know, like, yeah, he's like, you guys we're always pretty much always like walking everywhere together in that sense.
What's funny is like, there's, you know, there were five of us, and our banjo player is doing something else now, and so it was just 4 of us there, and the thought that I had was like we're all here, but you know, we're not hard to find, and we're kind of all thinking the same thing, which is, you know, it's getting late, this place is going to close, we should all probably figure out if we're going back to JD's or what after party or whatever.
And it's usually after party, I like that.
So,
yeah. People are so nice at the after party.
Magnanimous thought.
Well, we were speaking of after parties. Trey, you posted something about Panama City, and I can't remember which hotel that. I think that was probably the Holiday Inn.
Well, yeah, it was the Holiday Inn, and I forgot which the one that I stayed at. The one that I stayed at was right.
Shores of Panama is where I would stay at, and that one was right beside Club La Vila, which was what you were like.
Yeah. Well, I find like oddly enough, I actually never went to Club La Vila.
I didn't either.
I've been there before.
Yeah.
I've been there before, but I've never really been to Club La Vila like while I was like whenever at the height of like the spring break type thing down in Panama. So I'm sure they probably still do all that shit as far as spring break goes on down there. But I mean, that shit was. I'll be real, probably some of the wildest shit I've ever seen. Like, you know, at any point, there's just like, you know, it could never fly in today's society. A lot of it has to do, I'd imagine, with COVID, because like, you know, in that picture, there's like, you know, like 50, 60, like 50,000 people on this beach. You know what I mean? It's a ton of people, and they're all packed together. So you see people like, you know, openly bonging beers everywhere and fighting. I saw a lot of fights.
Oh yeah, so
dude, there's so much testosterone on that beach. It's just like
I'm gonna look better to this other girl.
Well, oh man, I was just like, I don't know. That shit blew my mind. I watched like, and it's like everywhere I went too. It's so, like I felt so bad for the people that worked at the Burger King there. And like seriously, like I'm surprised it stayed open, because I know if that was my job, I'd quit the week before.
Dude, all those places were just.
And watching people, you leave to go to like maybe like the strip mall, like down the beach, and like, dude, it's every 3 cars getting pulled over, you know, and everybody has weed, everybody is pretty drunk, like it's just like.
Maybe other things.
Oh yeah, dude, exactly. I mean, I was like, you know, I was like 17 or 18, and I was like, this is like the most lawless place on earth.
It's like the Wild Wild West.
It really was. It really was with boobs.
With boobs, yes, exactly. Well, so you guys kind of came to play some music. I know you have 2 singles that you are about to release. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Pride and have you all play that for us. So, you guys ready?
Sure. You want to talk about it first, or you want to play it?
Sure. Yeah, we can talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Tell us a little bit about like what the influence was behind this song, and who was the main writer for it, or like was it co-written by the band?
This is actually a song that
This is a song that I released in 2012 or 13 on an EP.
Okay.
And you can actually find that version of this song on my Bandcamp. It's just Ishi Wooton, ISHIWOOTON on Bandcamp. And I recorded it out in Kayla's at my friend's home studio. So it's just me. He had these really nice microphones. So all of his instruments and these Neumanns. And I didn't mix it or master it or anything, but in any case, that's how Trey kind of got a hold of it, and he really liked this song, and I kind of, I played it out. I never, wrote it into the set of any of my other bands, and Trey just started picking it up. So finally, 10 years down the road, we're playing, and he's like, "Hey man, you want to do this song with this band?" And I thought, sure, this song actually kind of comes from this idea that I had when I was a child, that I kind of wanted to know what it was like to be that guy standing on the median holding a cardboard sign. My dad always said veteran, and I thought that meant veterinarian.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? This guy loves animals, but he's out here trying to make money. Like, what does that mean with that? Of course, I was explained to that he's a veteran of the war. Homeless people, and so I was trying to put myself in that guy's shoes. And came up with these lyrics, and in any case, that's where this song comes from. That's where these lyrics come from. But yeah, it's pretty.
It's funny because we played this festival called Rise Love Fest, and I've been friends with Ishi for I'd say 7 years, 8 years now, and over the course of the years, you kind of learn how to approach people about certain things.
Yeah.
And I know that I don't if he does things on his own time, and I really if he wants to do it, he'll do it. And so I had made a point.
Appreciate you for joining us.
Yeah, and I made a point.
I wanted to be here. Hey, you reached out
before the day. I was like, whoa, this guy wants me to show up.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Well, I made a point to actually ask him. I was like, do you think you'd want to include this song on the album? And he was like, no, I don't think I want to re-record that. And I was like, you know what? I was like, and at that point, I was like, all right, whatever. I'm not gonna force the issue because I know it'll just irritate him. And so then we went and we played that Rislow Fest, and
where was that at?
And that's at Terrapin Hill. Okay. Yeah, it's really dope.
I've heard that place is awesome. I've never had the chance to go there.
There's a couple festivals that happen there. Yeah, Rislow Fest and
Shrimp Scampi.
Shrimp Scampi is going on in March.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rislow Fest is a really cool cause too, by the way. If anybody is looking to, I'm going to plug that because that's one of my favorite festivals, and they're run by really great people for a really good cause. But at any rate, we played that show, and it was probably 3 days before that I had asked if he wanted to do it. He's like, no. But then we get back from Terrapin, and somebody messages us the day we get back, and they were like, what is that one song about the tuna can in the cardboard box, and can I find it anywhere? And then Ishi messaged me, and he was like, okay, we can do it. He's like, okay, that needs to be on it. I was like, we're tight.
Let's hear some broad.
Box is all I got. I like to reminisce on better days. Fall down to my knees and pray, if there's a God, what does he see? I was 8 ball rolling down Main Street strolling, ain't no way nobody's catching me. Now a book of loose changes my Bible, a truck take my Bible, only bathe when it rains. Said I only bathe when it rains. Said I only bathe when it rains. I only bathe I seen a smiling face. Hey, Daddy, don't you pay no mind. I'll be out on time and get gone and leave no trace. Brother, won't you tell my sister I'm so sad I missed her, but I know she's in a better place. Said it all 1,000 times, and I'm so sorry. Now I'll move along, but let me tell you, listen, baby, I'm not trying to find a better way to make the same mistakes. I can feel the earth as it separates and leads me to my grave. I've been over it a time or two, and I found the truth too late. I'm not looking for a way to make the same mistakes again. I'm not looking for a way to make the same mistakes again. I'm not looking for a way to make the same mistakes again. I'm not looking for a way to make the same mistakes, no. From the garbage can with my shaky hands, I wipe the dirt off and dig right in. I'm going to step to the corner store where I can score a bag of freedom from a good time friend. Oh, it was yesterday, all I did was play and throw the pennies to the desperate man. And now the children just cling to their mothers. It stings like another dirty needle breaking through my skin. Breaking through my skin. Trying to break my skin when I won't let you in. 'Cause you know that I'm not trying to find a better way to make the same mistakes. I can feel the earth as it separates and it leads me to my grave. I've been over it a time or two, and I found the truth too late. I'm not looking for a way to make the same mistakes again. I'm not looking for a way to make the same mistakes again. I'm not looking for a way to make the same mistakes again. I'm not looking for a way, no. No way, no. So keep going that way.
We're coming to you all from Old North Bars. Want to give a huge shout out to Wes. We've had a few collaborations and working on some cool stuff. We were actually just talking about it in between while these fellas were playing. So really excited about some stuff coming up here at Grayland Station and Old North Bar. But just want to give you all a huge shout out too. So kind of fill us in a little bit about when Pride will be dropping and when people should expect to be able to hear that.
Well,
That single, I think we were talking about putting this one out late January if all goes well and we have some other things in place. But we have another one that is actually set to be released at the end of this week.
Okay.
yeah, the
Is
third.
it the other song that we're...
Well, it's actually not.
Okay.
Yeah, well, to be real with you, it's the song that we're releasing is called Bar Sleep Blues. Shout out to Crystal, she wanted us to do it. Sorry, honey, but I'd rather do Final Notice.
I would actually.
Yeah. Well, the thing, like the thing about that song Final Notice is just like to do it really successfully. I feel like you have to have like the whole band. You know what I mean? Because there's like a lot of like soloing and fills and shit on it. So like I mean, it just makes more sense to do the other one. But you know, we finally came up with decided on a name recently for the album, and we're gonna actually play the track that it's named after. And so if you didn't know, the name of the album is gonna be called Final Notice.
Final Notice.
And
Heard
now,
it here
yeah, I
first.
feel like you're probably the first person.
Woo!
Yeah.
That is the last song we'll also be playing.
Also Shuck exclusive.
Yeah. WTS news. So thank you all.
Yeah, man.
So obviously, strings are a huge influence to you all, but like we were talking a little bit about like some metal stuff. So like when you all have been playing, you were talking about who you were learning from. So like who were some people that you directly looked up to when you were trying to learn to play music, or like maybe like someone who you look for mentorship? You know, it could be literally from the music you were listening to growing up, or maybe it's like you said, like a direct mentor. So kind of walk us through that and the people that were influential to really, really lay the groundwork for the work you all do.
For me personally, I was so done with the fiddle by the time I was 10 years old that
So how long have you been playing fiddle?
since I was like 5.
Okay.
And then like
And isn't that like what most people would consider like one of the hardest instruments to like know how to play?
Pick it up. This thing's a bitch.
it's fretless.
I've heard lots of very
fretless, really like
talented musicians say that's the hardest. So
It's one of them.
yeah, bowing is just a whole like skill that who uses a bow, the violin, bass, cello, like the things that look like this.
So can you play those things too, or just that one?
A little bit. It's just bowing like this versus bowing like this.
Pretty different.
Yeah, it's all super different, but yeah, like
Were you listening like Dostoevsky?
Well, so I'm getting like to this.
Dostoevsky, is that how you pronounce his name?
I'm getting to this age, and I'm like, I don't, I'm not finding this music interesting. I don't like old time music. Like no one, of all the bands that I'm listening to, like Yellow Card is the only one that's actually using a violin, and I'm pretty sure I only like 2 or 3 of their songs. It's not because of the violin, like where do I have room for this instrument in my life? And then like I start listening to Django and Stefan, like Stefan Grappelli from the 40s, and then I get his story, and I'm like, oh, this guy literally had no training and taught himself how to do the greatest thing that anyone could do with one of these instruments, like freeform, jazz violin. And it's like, that is what kind of helped me understand that, like, I didn't need the knowledge of like being able to read music or be in an orchestra or something like that in order to like excel at this instrument. Like I could just take the music that was in my head and try to apply it to my knowledge of the instrument. And that's kind of what drove me to continue playing. And then that influence and being able to play that style of music, which I'm nowhere close to what that man could accomplish on a violin, but the Bloodroots Barter was the first acoustic sort of grass band besides my sister's. The first band that I was in, or sister's, my family band, that really helped me like continue playing this instrument. Otherwise, I was like drumming, I was like
so you
turning my guitar up as loud as I could, like just trying to
be angsty,
fit into the world of music, find where I was fitting in. This fit into absolutely none of the metal bands that I was in.
So how did you all actually meet each other?
Actually, so he used to have dreadlocks, and I think this is really funny, but he used to have dreadlocks, and so we like show up, like I show up, is that Terrapin, the first Terrapin I ever went to, and I like get out of the truck, and I'm setting up the speakers at the, it wasn't the pavilion, the chapel stage, and I have like fucking like 8 people walk up to me, like over the course of like the first hour, and they're like, "It's so good to see you again, brother, welcome back to the farm," and I was like, what are these people talking about? And I was like, and at some point, around the 4th person, I was like, thanks.
Is that acid already?
Yeah, I know. I was like, God damn, these people are fucked up. But then, but anyway, so then I was like, I guess it was around like the 6th person, kind of like was like, oh, you're not that guy. And I was like, who are you even talking about? And they're like, he plays fiddle with this band Restless. His name's Ishi. And so like, they ended up playing, I think, like a couple hours later, and they were earlier in the day, but Ishi gets at Ishi comes up on about like where the green room, I guess you can call it, next to the stage. He walks up, and I was like, man, I was like, man, I'm not gonna lie. So you're Ishi. I was like, clearly. And I was like, people have been saying that I'm your doppelganger all day. And he was like, well, thank God I have a damn good looking doppelganger.
That's what I said, who is this gorgeous man walking up to me like...
And I was like, look at this. Look what we're doing. Yeah, dude, it was funny. Like, and I mean, I ended up... Yeah, that's how me and him ran into each other. And actually, so they had Snugglewe'en, which they have Snugglewe'en there, and obviously it's on Halloween, but everybody dresses up. I actually went as Ishi for the Snugglewe'en because
that wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny. It was fucking.
I was not amused.
And then because I was wearing the same kind of clothing that he was wearing at the time, and I also brought I brought like my little sister's like toy fiddle, and people, dude, I had more conversations with people than I was like, I'm saying a character, like I was like, yeah, man, I'm about to rip this shit, and at that point I was hardly even playing guitar.
Seth Weber used to actually get into Cosmic through the back door because people thought he was me.
Which Cosmic? The one over here?
No, the one on Euclid.
Strip mall.
Where Mirror Twins?
Yeah, OG Cosmic.
So that wasn't funny.
I guess that technically the first time. You weren't playing with them, I guess, when I was talking to you about the show over here, right?
No.
I've
We've been like a year, right?
About a year.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So when you all were over here playing, who all was playing with you then, I guess?
At that point,
That was almost 2 years. That was over 2 years ago.
yeah.
those two bass
At that point, it was me, Brett Horton from Horton Holler. I did Sean First, who plays with Flatland Cavalry, and a myriad of other bands. And Riley, who still plays with us. Shouts out Riley. Hope your mud butt goes away. And then Thomas Keithley, Tom. That was the lineup at that point. And but yeah, and you just like things happen, and people they want to do other stuff with their time, their life. And I've learned over the years not to take offense to it. There's certain things that a person can do that's like maybe not as not as professional, but like I'll say that I don't really take it personally whenever somebody is like this isn't for me. Like Tom, and he's still one of my best friends, and he was like, man, he wants to live a life of be it he has a farm now and all that shit. So I was like, man, I support you in whatever you do. And all I got to do is all we have to do is pretty much just adapt. And it's nice because the dudes that I'm playing with now, which is the lineup at this point is JD Thomas, Ishi, Riley, Logan, and me. But the nice thing about it is that it never has actually felt like it has taken a step back as far as the quality of the sound and actually the amount of sound. You know what I mean? It's the dudes are so talented.
Your all's band is incredibly talented. When you all did that set at Masters, I was blown away.
I appreciate that.
Such a great set, and that's such an intimate setting that they have down at that little tent. And
yeah, that was kind of a curveball too, because we had all of our equipment to plug in.
Okay. So they didn't really talk about that, or how
and JD even brought his. They brought.
Were you all expecting to plugged
JD
in?
JD brought his jazz bass. Well, they told us they were and this is it went really well, and so there's no issue with it.
Yeah.
But I know the guy that runs it really well.
They may have just expected us to know
what small PA means. Yeah.
What small PA.
It was definitely small PA.
Dude, yeah.
I think it was
tower speaker.
Two tower speakers.
Yeah, two tower speakers.
And then I had a small PA.
Yeah, and so that's why, we were I wasn't expecting anything big, but we showed up and I was just dear God, how.
There were so many people down there to watch.
Oh, it was really nice.
It was magical.
Yeah, it was really cool. Brother Smith had played there the year before, and I think the world of them, for real. Wes.
I love those dudes.
Yeah, Wes and Aaron are awesome people. But they were down there the year before, and they said it went really well for them too, and it kind of gave me a lot of hope because in that situation, you're like, oh shit, what's about to happen here?
No, it was an awesome set. There were hippies and cowboys. I've grown really close with those dudes, and they were literally in, and they were like, these guys fuck hard.
Yeah, they're really good.
They shook hard.
Sorry, Mom.
yeah, it's really cool to kind of like get to see. That's why I was asking, like, when you all are going to places, are people like really familiar with bluegrass, or you all answering, or like, yeah, people are like genuinely really excited to see us because they are familiar with that kind of demographic. But so you all have a new album obviously coming out. You have some new singles coming out. So when should people be expecting for the new album to drop?
So, I think what the plan of action is, as far, and this might just be wrong, but the plan of action is I think we want to like try and release it, sometime in like mid-February to like late January. But then like because we want to press vinyl for it. I found that like CDs are just kind of almost like selling VHS tapes at this point, and so.
Your real fans will still buy those vinyls, and you can kind of like.
Sometimes I always feel like when people buy a CD, it's like
just want a new record will buy the vinyl.
Yeah, exactly. And
you bought a vinyl before the show.
I mean,
sure did.
At Vintage
I
Therapy.
listened to the album like 100 times.
What
now,
was
and
that? What is the album?
I definitely feel like it's worth pressing to vinyl. I mean, I think people are really gonna enjoy it.
I do too. I love the sound of vinyl. It's so warm. I got Full Circle of the Doors.
Okay.
It's a Christmas present.
There you go.
Yeah. There's a naked guy in it too. Actually, a lot of them. There's all the same.
When you all do your album art, who typically does that? Is it someone in the band, or is it?
I always say we have an extra member, and she's done a lot for us. Her name's Grace. She's done a lot of artwork for us, and she's done it since the beginning. Our original bassist, rest in peace, Dave Fish. But we're seeing each other, and we became really good friends. And she's one of the most. She's done artwork for damn near every band that I know. Like seriously, every band that I know. But she always has done great work for us, and me and her remain really close. But for this next one, I don't know. It's been a toss up of ideas, and our first one was hand drawn by this person named Snowflake, and they did a really great job. But I think I kind of wanted to go and my thought on it, and we haven't really come to an agreement on it, but my thought on it was that I wanted it to be like a picture, like more like a photograph of us, because my neighbor, she does photography, and she was saying, she's like, you guys deserve to be able to like have your face on this and stuff, and I was like, well, that makes sense, and I'd like to go that route. But but Grace has done the majority of the artwork for us since the journey. Shout out Grace.
Shout out Grace.
Grace Meyer.
Grace Myers. That was said.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, one of the funny things I saw recently online was when you were talking about the lady that showed up to your house. Hopefully that's not your neighbor you're talking about, but apparently she needed
God, I wish. She was that easy to knock on the door.
She was not having a great day or night.
Oh man,
she showed up a few times apparently.
Well, she didn't show up. She only showed up once, unfortunately. You didn't catch me at the right time, and $5 go a long way. But I ended up running into her downtown. I was going downtown to see a friend, and I don't really want to go too far into it. But anyway, I opened the door, and she's right there, and she was like, "Do you have $1?" And I was like, "I'll give you $5." Shit. Yeah. The price of it went down. It's an inside thing.
Just DM him if you want more details. But
you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube, all the big ones. And in fact, they keep adding other ones. I don't know who listens to those other streaming services, but they're out there. But you can find us on all that shiz.
And your all's new album is going to be coming out. It's called Final Notice. That's the song and single that they're going to be playing for us right now. Thank you, Ishi. Thank you, Trigger Trey. I appreciate you all so much. But this next song is going to be Final Notice by the boys of Dark Moon Hollow. And hope you all enjoy it.
1, 2, 3. Final notice on the door. You think you're broke, but now there's more. You've been beaten, downtrodden, and nearly forgotten, and then you remember you're poor. 'Cause whoever said
it on beer, weed, women, and pills. Now it's the first, it's always the worst. After dealing with a month of cans, it's your final notice. Pay your shit or get out. Here's your last chance. Electricity's off. I can't afford to call. I'm hoping that cardboard is warm and the concrete is soft. Cause whoever said money doesn't make you smile was surely the one at the top of a pile of cash. Stretching into wind, reach a country mile. So it's your final notice, last call, last chance to pay your bills. You thought they wouldn't notice, you spent it on beer, weed, women, and pills. Now it's the first, it's always the worst. After dealing with your circumstance, it's your final notice, pay your shit or get out. It's your last chance. It's your final notice, pay your shit or get out. Here's your last chance.
Hey everybody, I am Austin Shuck, the host of the What the Shuck podcast and also the president of Appalachian Pioneer Program. I am coming to you all from the Germantown Art Gallery in Germantown, Kentucky. They are a Airbnb Plus on Airbnb, so it is going to be an Airbnb that reaches all of the standards that you want from essentially the amenities you would get at a hotel, but that you'll have at a home. And I had the chance to meet some people who have a property here, and we're working on a really cool thing that, so essentially, if you come here and you say hashtag Shuck in the Ville, you will be giving a 10% discount to stay at this property, and they're going to be donating 10% of their earnings quarterly to Appalachian Pioneer Program. So they'll be making an annual contribution at the end of each year to my nonprofit. We're really excited about that. Thank you all so much. I hope you all are having an absolutely great day, and I hope you kill it in 2023. Let's live the dream. Woo!